Everyone, and welcome to Hero Arts Make Along. I'm going to give a little bit of time for people to get in. And sorry, I started a little bit late today. I had something in my eye and it was bothering me, so I had to wash it out real quick. And I was trying to get lunch ready real quick for the girls, so it all came to head right there. But I got my thing out of my eye, and we're all better. Today we're creating a couple cards with the December card kit of the month. Just pop back over to the comments here. Everything looks good. Okay, good. We're using the stamp set, a little bit of the stamp set, and mainly the circle die that came in that set. This guy here. And we're going to create this card. So that's the first card we're going to create. The second card features the fancy die of the month. So this is the December fancy die of the month. This is a really fun rainbow card. Hello. Okay, good. I was like, there's no comments. Is this not working? Hello from Northern Arizona. We're going to be up in Northern Arizona in a week. We rent a Christmas cabin, my family, and every Christmas. And this time we're going up to Pine Top. So we're excited to get to maybe see some snow. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. I know this is a really busy time of year, so probably a lot of people aren't going to be able to join us today. Let me switch. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my other camera. That's what I forgot to do, is set up. That's the east. Is Pine Top the east? It's northern for me anyway. It's northern than where I am, I think. Maybe I'm confused. Oh, you live in Flagstaff. Yeah, Flagstaff's beautiful. We stayed up there once before. Oh, sorry. I forgot to set up my other camera. Or not my other camera, my other thing to switch out. Hi, Sheila. Oh, it's cold in Ohio. Oh, no. I bet it is. Hi from South Africa. Hello. That's so cool. Welcome. We are also having a family party today, too, at my house. Whoa. And I've been running around trying to clean, which is crazy. Okay, yes, this is one of the cards we're going to create today. We're going to create these two cards here. This one features the December card kit of the month. This one is the December fancy die of the month. Both of these are still available, so you can actually get these still. Getting ready for Christmas dinner number 1 of 4. Oh my gosh. That sounds almost like me. Just got my box, but haven't had time to play, I bet. Oh, good. I'm glad you're watching for inspiration, because I do use primarily only things from the kit for these two cards. I use the liquid. So in the card kit, let me get myself together here. Let me get myself organized. So in the card kit, December card kit, you have that gorgeous floral circle die. This awesome, let's grab some white cardstock so you can see it better. I really love this set. This awesome 6x8 clear. We're going to be using this kite image, as you can see here on the card. But there's so many other beautiful images in this set. There's coordinating dies for every one of those images. Awesome. Look at all those. There's so many. And coordinating dies for all the sentiments in that stamp set as well. So a really nice bunch of products. In addition to these are also, you get 5 reactive ink reinkers. And I grabbed the wrong color. Let me grab the right one. Oh, I might have to go grab it real quick. I'll do that in just a second. There's a 5th color, which I accidentally grabbed, Key Lime Fizz. The other color is more of a Kelly green called Green Apple. But you get Blue Hawaii, Fruit Punch, Galaxy. This is Purple Galaxy. It doesn't look like it in the bottle, but it's a beautiful dark purple. Lemon Drop, one of the most handy colors ever. So these are actually re-inkers for our reactive ink pads. I love our reactive ink pads. There's so many techniques you can do with the ink. It is water reactive. So that just allows you to do all these splishy, splashy kind of techniques with them. But the re-inkers are really fun because you can use them the same way as you would the ink pad, but they're a little bit easier for those splishy, splashy techniques, which we are going to take advantage for this card here. I have to get up though, because I realized I grabbed the wrong ink. Let me get the green apple because we need it for this first card. So let me grab that real quick. Ooh. Sorry about that. I'm gonna just get my whole box of inks here of re-inkers. Ah, here it is. This is it, right? Green apple, reactive. Okay. There we go. Now we have all the inks. And there was also a palette, a little plastic palette that was included. Actually, I don't think this is too tiny. It's kind of big. A little plastic palette, though, that was included in your kit as well. So let's start with this first card. And we're going to start by creating that really splishy, splashy watercolor background. You're going to need some watercolor paper. I'm using Hero Art's Luxe White. It is gorgeous because it is really a white white watercolor paper, I should say. And all your colors just turn out so bright and beautiful on here. Hi, Cassie. Hello, welcome. I'm going to put these aside for now. So all we need to start with is our reactive ink re-inkers, the 5 included in the kit. You're going to need some water because we're going to water these down. And then you'll need a straw, or I'm going to use my rocket air blaster. So you may have seen other card makers use this with alcohol inks. You might have even seen other alcohol ink artists use this to kind of blow the alcohol ink around and create really beautiful backgrounds. We're going to use this to blow our watercolor around. So kind of the same concept. But you can also use a straw. The only reason I don't use a straw is because I have to get like right down in here. If I was using a straw, you wouldn't see my face. You wouldn't be able to see my work because my face would be in the way. And then you'll also need something like a eyedropper or a pipette to kind of pick up the water and pick up your watered down ink. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to use I probably should have cleaned this before I started, but it's fine. You really only need, these colors are really intense. And you really only need, let me put them in rainbow order, a small, tiny little drop. There, now they're in rainbow order. I'll put it where I had it before. Squeeze a little drop here. Hi, Beth. How are you? Because I want it to be, let me grab my original too. I want it to be a little less intense, a little more pastel, a bit. I wouldn't say this is like a pastel looking palette, but it's lighter than the true saturated look of the ink. So I have a little drop of that fruit punch in the well of my palette. I'm going to grab some water. There we go. Squeeze some water out into there. I think that looks pretty good. Sorry, my camera's going to be doing that. I don't like that. I'll try to not, I don't like it refocusing and focusing. Just mixing that water and that ink together now. And I can now pick it up and put it down onto, and I'm just going to put it in a little dab, I was going to say a well, but that doesn't make sense. Blob. Maybe just put a little blob down there of the watered down ink. And I'm going to now clean my pipette because I'm going to need that later for other colors. Then I'm going to grab my rocket air blaster and blow that color out. And I think this is still too intense. And yet only had a little drop. It's a little bit more intense than I wanted it to be. Let's move these up here, but that's okay. It'll dry a little lighter. I want to get some red over there because we want to. And let's move that to a safe spot. Want to have our colors mix. Ooh, look at how fun that looks. Oh, I'm getting messy right away. How did that happen? How did I get so inky? What did I do? Jeez, Louise, I sure did it. I don't know what I stuck my hand in. All right, so now I'm going to dry this actually. So I'm going to take my heat tool and dry it real quick. We're drying because I don't want the colors to get too mixed. I still want them to stay separate splatters of color. If I didn't dry in between, we could end up with mud. So I'm going to dry, maybe. I think it helps when your heat tool is plugged in. I think that does help a little bit. Let me plug mine in. Okay. Cassie. I'm so sorry about that, Cassie. It has been crazy from what I hear over at Spellbinders shipping everything out. We switched over, the warehouse switched over to a new software system, and it's just been really a big challenge to get it all up and running. Much more, I think there were a lot of obstacles. So I know it's coming soon. I was just there on Thursday and I was there Tuesday and they were shipping out the kits. But yeah, we switched over our software for the warehouse and it just caused all these delays, which is such a big bummer. I'm sorry about that, but they are shipping out now, definitely shipping out, and soon, hopefully soon, Cassie. And this will not be the norm. This is just this one exception. Once we switch over and have this new software up and running, hopefully this will never, ever happen again. But it's been so frustrating. I feel so bad for everybody scrambling to try to figure it out and fix the problems. I can't even imagine how stressful that is. No problem, Cassie. And I know they're trying to put in a little gift or a little thank you for your patience. So hopefully soon, and you'll get a little bonus too. All right, we're moving on to our next color of the rainbow, which is lemon drop. I'm gonna squeeze that out. I'm gonna do 3 drops of that guy. And let's get some water. This lemon drop is so bright. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more water. Okay, just mix that up. I really wish I cleaned my palette. I think I can make it work. We could do the green apple here, blue Hawaii here, and then the purple there. But it would just be so much prettier if I had cleaned it. All right, let's grab this ink. You might hear my daughters. They are having fun in their room. I don't know what they're doing. They're supposed to be eating their lunch. I'm sure they are, though. But they are giggling up a storm in there. I don't know what we spent, because we're having company come over. We spent a lot of time yesterday. That is just too much. This is the great thing about the pipette. I can just kind of suck some up if I got too much color on there. There we go. So we have company coming over, so we clean their rooms. And so now they have this nice clean room that they can play in. I got way too much yellow, but that's all right. Ooh, I'm loving but it's looking so pretty and so fun. Oh my gosh. The way it's mixing and kind of creating orange, like exactly what I wanted. I can even make that happen a little bit more by adding a little more of the yellow over the orange. And I'm going to call that guy done. Definitely got plenty of yellow on there. So let me dry this. Clean up my mess. All right. Look at, we got some orange going on. Really pretty. I'm definitely not adding as much water as I did with my first one, but that's okay. That's all right. This one's just going to be more vibrant, more vivid. But you can see how a little bit of that color goes a long way. I still have tons of that color in my wells, which I'll use, probably do a little bit of painting. Our next color is the green apple. Let's turn this around. Squeeze out a couple, 2 drops. That's plenty. And let's clean out our pipette a smidge. And let's add some water to that. It's so intense. It's crazy how intense these are. All right, I'm gonna try to be a little bit more conservative than I have for the other ones. Oh, we ended up getting a bit of green up here. That's all right. Oh, not put so much out. Still put too much out. I want to get a little bit of that green on the yellow. Oops. So I'm going to add a tiny bit more of it. All right, that looks good. Oh, it's coming together. All right, now I'm going to dry it again. I only have 2 more colors to go. So we are past halfway. And now onto Blue Hawaii. So fun, isn't it, Beth? It's such fun playing. It's playing with these bright, vibrant colors. I love it. All right, we're gonna grab some water, add it in. I think that's plenty. Get that center. I might even have to come back with a little bit of yellow. All right. Oops, I probably didn't want to do that. But it'll be fine for the purple. And there's our rocket blaster. Oh yeah, so pretty. Oh my gosh, that Blue Hawaii is beautiful. Woo! Very fun. right, I'm going to clean up a little and quickly dry this, and we'll be ready for our last color, which is the purple. That's a great question, Claire. I'm using Hero Arts Luxe White watercolor paper. I love it. It's awesome. We've included it in a lot of kits in the past, so you might even have some of it laying around if you are a subscriber to our kits regularly. But it's a really great watercolor paper because it's so white. And all your colors turn out so intense. Now, these are definitely more intense than my original because I am not, first of all, not adding as much water as I did before. You know, I don't remember exactly how much water I added the first time I did it, and just did my best guess. And so this time I'm adding definitely less, but that's okay. So they're just turning out brighter. All right, and this last one is the Purple Galaxy. I am going to add just one drop. This one is so dark and so intense. Beautiful, beautiful color. But I definitely want this to be on the lighter side. Okay. Okay, I'm going to add that. That's got to be plenty. Oh, I like this one. This is probably more of how I did it last time. But this is the perfect purple for what I want to do for this. I think this is the right shade for this palette. So it's a little bit, this one, I think I got my ratios a little bit more like the first. Oh my gosh, that's pretty. I'm just going to add a tiny bit more. Oh, I love it. It's so pretty. Look at that. It turned out so good. It's very pretty. I like that color too. It's kind of a like a teal or a light teal or almost a pool. Isn't it amazing? It looks like an ocean that I want to go to. Oh, I love how that purple turned out. That looks great. I'm really happy with this. I'm going to dry it. I think the only thing I'm going to do now is it looks really good. This is going to be fun. We're going to have a softer one and a brighter one. And today I'm kind of digging this brighter one. I do want, though, to kind of fill in this white spot here. That's exactly where the sun's going to go. And I want it to look complete color. So I'm just going to add a small amount of that yellow there. We already have it all mixed up. Just a little bit. You can even use a pipette to kind of fill in that spot. And then I'm going to blow it out towards the green. So I didn't get enough of that green and yellow mixing, I feel like. Oops. Or to the blue. Best laid plans, right? Let's do a little bit more. It wants to go where it's wet. That's why we dry in between. Oh, there we go. There we go. Got a little bit of mixing. I like that. It's amazing how water reactive they are. Just the second that, you know, for the green, the second the lemon drop got onto that watered down lemon drop, it reactivated the ink and started mixing the colors again. So very cool. All right, now I'm done. Perfect. Okay, we will trim this down, which is nice because then you can decide, you know, a little bit where you want to your circle die centered to go, and so you can kind of trim down appropriately. I'm probably going to trim more down off this bottom, so because my center is a little high right now, I think. At least that's what it looks like to me. But that is done with that. So now we're going to go to die cutting out. Stamping, actually, we're going to stamp this first because that allows some time for the ink to dry. And then we'll die cut this floral circle out a couple of times. So I'm going to move my panel aside, make some room because we're going to do some stamping real quick. Grab my, oh, I got a stamp left over in there. Uh-oh. I got to figure out what set that goes to. And I'm going to stamp this onto watercolor paper again, the Luxe White, because I'm going to do some simple watercoloring. I have a scrap here that I think will be just the right size. So pop that in, grab the clear, move that out of the way. Grab the clear set. And get the kite from that set. Oh, he works perfect. He's going to fit just right on there. And because I'm going to watercolor this, I need to ink it up in a waterproof ink. So I'm going to be using Hero Arts Intensified Black. This is an awesome ink. It's great for watercoloring because it will dry to be waterproof. Such a great ink. It is also you can use for alcohol markers as well. Isn't that great? So really good all-around ink. I love it. And I'm going to ink it up again. Stamp it one more time, I think. That's all it needs. Perfect. Looks so good. Okay, we can put that aside. I'm just going to let that ink dry a tiny bit while we start die cutting our circles out. Let's clean this and put him away because we will need this. Misty again for our sentiment. All right. That over there. And I gotta move everything around. That's probably not a good idea, Shannon. Let's maybe not put our liquid palette onto our computer. Knowing me, how clumsy I am, I will definitely knock it over and ruin my computer. And that'd be sad. Now we're going to die cut. Now you could die cut this out of the watercolor paper if you'd like. I'm going to use some, I'm trying to see if I have some scraps here that'll fit. I'm going to use some white Hero Arts Dove White cardstock because, again, the Luxe White is so white, you're not going to really get any difference. But if you want to keep everything the similar tone, you could, if you're using something other than Hero Arts Luxe White, you could just die cut this out of your watercolor paper. But I want to save my watercolor paper for watercolor projects, so I'm not going to die cut it out of that. There we go. Look at how well that cut out. That's one. We're going to die cut this out 2 more times, and that's because I want to stack this up for a little bit of dimension. So I cut it out once. Look at the pieces just fall right out. Amazing. I love that. Isn't it so pretty? And if you haven't had a chance to check out the other projects by the creative team, be sure to check them out. They've made some beautiful cards with this die. I'll show you real quick what this looks like if you were to color in kind of all the parts. How fun is it, right? It's stunning. And a lot of creators, or a lot of the people on our creative team, did use the transfer paper with this or use color cardstock. There's some gorgeous examples. It's just such a fun die. I would love to see this. It would be easy to turn this into a shaker card. And you could even have each section be different if you wanted to, if you really wanted to go all in on like different sequence, or something small would be best to go with beads in each section. That'd be so fun. But you can also just do a circle die that kind of matches to create the cardstock for the wells, or you could hand snip. It would be really easy to snip that too. There's so many things you could do with this die. There's lots of fun things. All right, so I need to die cut this 2 more times. Let's see if I have more cardstock over here. I think I do. Oh, look at that. Perfect. A little scrap there. All right. Okay. And we'll just pop all those negative pieces out. We just want the frame. All right, 1 more to go. All right, do I have 1 more piece? I do. Wow, it's like I planned it. All right, last one. Cut beautifully every time. It's just what you want. I say that? I was gonna say, I say that and then 1 piece sticks, but it came out. It fooled me for a second. Okay. There we go. Let's put this back. And let's toss all these little negative pieces away. You could definitely save them if you think you're going to use them. I know I'm not going to, so I'm just going to toss them. They could be colored, Copic colored, an inlay, or paper pieced in. All right, let's glue these together. We're going to grab some Hero Arts liquid glue. Just add a little bit. You could, if you wanted to use the full adhesive, do it that way. But this is not too, I think, fussy of a design to just add a little bit of liquid glue to. There's nothing super thin and fine. Okay, 1 done. And time for the next one, last one. And once we finish this, we'll be ready to do a little bit of painting, very simple painting on that kite. That looks great, nice and stacked. Just hold it down for a second. There we go. So those who are celebrating the holidays coming up, how are we all feeling? Are we ready? I know I saw, let's see, Mariana, I believe, say she had one of 4 holiday dinners that she's going to. Today's one of them. I have to put this on here to see. Oh my gosh, you guys. So the darker colors are really nice. They're making my design pop even better. So cool. Oh, hi, Tracy from Alaska. Oh, hello. We're hoping to go to Alaska this summer. I've been there before, though. I used to actually have a boyfriend in Alaska. And I visited him a couple times in Anchorage. Okay, let's get our palette. We're ready to color this. I, on the other hand, am not ready at all for the holidays. I am so behind. I don't have a single thing wrapped. I'm not kidding, not one thing. But I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll work out somehow. All right, so this is, I think, dry enough. It doesn't take too long to dry. Also, I'm in Arizona, so it dries pretty fast. But we are ready to watercolor this. I'm going to pull this over, actually, because I'm going to color these rip bows. What am I thinking? Oh, Tracy says I worked 21 days straight, so I am not ready either. I feel you, Tracy. I feel you. Completely. We'll get there somehow, or we won't, but we'll get there. It'll come and everything will be fine. So I want these little bows here to be about the same intensity of color that I have going on here, because I want everything to match. So that's why I pulled my panel over to keep an eye on it. Oh gosh, I have not sent my Christmas cards either. I'm terrible. I'm the worst. I'm literally the worst. It always seems to get done, right, Tracy? Somehow. I know how, though. It's because we don't allow ourselves to sleep. We get it done because we make it so. All right, we'll start with the purple. And I'll just color one of these. Real simple watercoloring. Just going to color in the bow. Pretty. There we go. Sleep's way overrated, right? There's that red. Oh my gosh. This is going to be so pretty. I can't wait to see this card when it's done. How funny that just changing, like making it more intense. I feel like I'm doing something slightly different, like a different project. And I'm so excited to see how it all comes together. I think this might be better than my first card. I love it when that happens. That gets me really excited. All right, a little bit of the yellow. We're like kind of going in rainbow order here. I guess we are not kind of, we straight up are. There we go. So really simple, just coloring it in. And then the green. See, that's where I'm seeing it's not quite as intense. And if you feel like it's not as intense as it is as your splatter, you can just do another layer. So you paint it once, let it dry, and then do another layer, and that'll make it a little bit more intense. But I think that's actually pretty good. It looks matchy to me. All right, so, and I can hold it up so you can see. I think all my colors look pretty spot on. I'm happy with that. So now we're going to add a little shadow to the kite. I don't know why I want to call it an umbrella, because that is not an umbrella. grab our blue. I am going to water this blue down though. He was very dark. And I want this umbrella. No, not umbrella, Shannon. This is a kite. I want this kite to look white except for have a shadow, a little bit of shadow. And that's the blue. That's where the blue comes in. So I don't want to color this whole kite blue. I just want to add a little shadow here and there. And that is perfect. I couldn't be happier with that. You can blend it out a little. Maybe add the tiniest shadow there. Something just like that. Maybe even one, I could do one down the middle, but I don't want to go too crazy. I think already I'm getting close to pushing the limit of what I should do. I say that as I get a little bit more blue and add a tiny bit more down here. I love it. Okay, I think that is fun. Oh my gosh, I think it's gonna look so cool. That's it. We're done with our watercoloring. Okay, we are ready to put this, almost ready to put this card. I almost forgot about the sentiment. We have one more thing to do is the sentiment. So I'm gonna put all these three things aside. I will die cut this out with the coordinating die, but I'm gonna give that a watercolor a second, a few more seconds to dry before I do that. We're gonna grab our clear set again, which I've lost because if I haven't lost something in a live, did I even make a card? Where did it go? Behind me. That's my spot where I put things a lot. We're going to do, of course, You Color My World, because this is like the world and it's being, you know, colored with all this watercolor. Fun, right? So let's grab You Color My World. And we're going to grab some black cardstock. Do I happen to have a little scrap here that I can use? Here we go. I do happen to have a little scrap. Well, isn't that nice? Put these up here. It's the perfect little scrap. And I'm going to, I really desperately need to get some more powder for my anti-static tool here, but this is by Rabbit Hole Designs. I love it so much. But I'm out of powder and I need more powder. I think I have some buried in my craft room, but finding it is going to be the tricky part. All right, I'm going to stamp this. I am going to heat emboss this, but I like to, which is hence the anti-static powder. But for heat embossing in white, which is what I'm going to do, I like to stamp it in Hero Arts Unicorn White Pigment ink. I find that if I have any breaking in the surface of the embossing powder, because I stamped it in white ink, it will camouflage that. Also, this is pigment ink, so it takes longer to dry. So it works essentially just like a embossing and a watermark ink. You, of course, could just use embossing watermark ink, but I'm loving this tip that I learned from Mindy, my friend. So it is very, very handy. And I now do it exclusively. All right. For at least my white embossing. Let me stand up to get my powder. Everything's just out of reach. Oh, thanks, Debbie. You're so kind. All right, I'm going to dip this in. There we go. It looks real good. The powder stuck really nice. I'm going to heat set this with my heat tool. You guys, I just had an epiphany. You know how when I started to use my heat tool earlier for drying my watercolor, it wasn't plugged in, and that kind of surprised me, or at least like, oh, it's not plugged in. Guess what? I know why it wasn't plugged in. My husband used my heat tool yesterday. And you didn't plug it back in. Naughty, naughty. Luckily, he did put it back. I shouldn't complain. He definitely put it back over my workspace. So much, so pretty much did it completely right. Because if it wasn't here, I'd be very confused. I'd be like, where'd my heat tool go? That's not normal. All right, we're going to die cut this out. Just line it up. A couple pieces of tape. But it heat embossed beautifully. I love using that white embossing powder. It's so good. Ooh, sorry. Popped my neck. Didn't mean to. Okay. How's that looking? Oh my gosh. And these dies, you guys, Hero Arts does such a good job with their word dies. They cut so nice and close. Look at that. It looks so professional. I'm floored. It looks amazing. I cannot wait to put this card together. You guys, it's going to be so cute. I love these bold colors. Why didn't I do this before? My only thing now is, well, I think the blue will still work. So the original card had, I trimmed down our watercolor panel and used mist cardstock to kind of mat it on. I think that will still work. I think that'll still look good because it is similar in tone to what we have going on here in the kite. But look at this. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so good. Okay, I got to get my paper trimmer. We are going to trim this down. And I know I want to trim more off of the bottom. Oh, you know, I should die cut this real quick. I should die cut that real quick since I did the sentiment. I might as well do the word or the kite too. Where is my kite die? Here it is. So here's the matching die for that. Perfect. And we'll die cut this out. Ooh, that tape stuck a little bit, but it didn't stick to the parts that matter. At least I think. I shouldn't say that till I pull it off, right? Okay, looks like we're good. Got away with it. Phew. Look at how cute that kite is. Gosh, I got dirty. Wow. How do I do that? I don't know. Now we'll trim our panel. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. I think the darker colors are pretty. It won't quite match as nicely with our other card because our other card, I definitely want to go with the softer palette because it's, I know, it's kind of like unicorns and rainbow feeling. Let's cut off. So we want about a 1/4 inch cut off. So I want to take this down to 4. I think I can just do it all on one side. So I'm cutting off. If you have it nice and centered, you might want to cut off a 1/8 of an inch on one side and 1/8 of an inch on the other. I'm going to just cut 1/4 off this side here. Then now I'm going to cut about 1/4 off of the bottom. So it's 5 1/2. So we'd cut 1/4 down. So we should measure at 5 1/4. There we go. That looks good. And you know what? I don't think I have my blue cardstock. I had to go grab that real quick. Okay, I'm not sure. I got my whole pad. Oh, good. I have a panel here all ready to go. That's the mist. Such a pretty blue. I grabbed my whole pack here in case I needed it, but I do have a panel ready to go. Very pretty. Do I like that? That's what I originally did. But again, my colors were a little different. I'm trying to decide if I like that. I think I need a different blue. Going rogue. I have this leftover blue cardstock from a previous kit. Do I like that better? Whoops. Yikes. No, I think I like the mist better. Sticking with the mist. It's really a pretty blue. I think also white would look really good. Actually, I do want to, I just want to see it. I just want to see it on white. I might do white, guys. I don't know. What do you think? White or mist? Okay, that's the white. And here it is on mist. That's what I'm feeling, Tracy. I'm feeling the white too. I feel like this everything being so much darker and more intense, the white's a better choice for this one. I'm going with it, Tracy. That's what I feel that too. All right, do I have a card base in here? Well, we have a panel. We'll just glue it to the panel. I'll put it on a card base later. Purple or red. Oh, those are good suggestions too. I don't know if we have a... I could use the coral, but I think it's still a little too light. And I think the purple, I don't really have a good purple to match that. It's a little more on the blue side. I think I'm going to stick with white for this one. I think black also would be a nice option too. I'm just going to show you just what it looks like on black because I think that's another good one as well. That looks great. Really pops. But I think I'm going to stick with the white for today. But I think those all, you know what? If you at home, you like a red or a purple better, do it. Go for it. It can be whatever you want. I think I grabbed my almost empty glue, but oh, still has some. I'm going to glue this right down to the panel. And then we're going to go ahead and glue our circle down. Perfect. And again, I want that sun to be kind of the center of the sun, more in the yellow-orange area. Hold it down for a second. And I'm now going to need a little bit of foam adhesive to stick down the sentiment and the kite. I have these black strips. These are awesome for the sentiment. The kite's going to go. Let's place everything for a second. Maybe like that. I'm going to double up the foam adhesive. Is that what I did in the original? Oh, yes, I did. Where's my scissors? There we go. So I'm place it down again, just so I have a visual of where the foam adhesive is going to go. I'm going to do a double piece like right behind that X. So I'm going to take my foam adhesive, fold it back on itself so it's doubled up. And then stick it behind that X. And then I'll put a little piece on the tails, or behind the bows a little bit. I think that will fall somewhere on the circle. Yeah, it totally does. Nice. Stick that down. Oh, I guess it helps to remove the back. So I didn't double up the foam adhesive here because I knew it was going to sit on the stacked circle die cut. But I did double up it under the kite because I knew that part of the kite didn't really sit on the stacked frame. And that just keeps everything the same height. Cute. So good. Okay, and then for the sentiment, a lot simpler. I am just going to put strips of black foam adhesive behind it. And, you know, just hope that it falls on the that some area will fall on the raised area. And it'll be that double layers in the end. That double dimension, I guess. I think that will work. How are we doing? Pretty good. I'm going to add one more piece behind. What part is that? The R in color. I love using black foam adhesive when I have a black or white heat embossed on black cardstock sentiment. It just looks so clean and polished. I've lost my tweezers. There's a good reason I have two, because I always lose one. I have my crock pot. Whenever I have company over, I crock pot a meal, at least part of the meal. That way I'm not in the kitchen cooking so much while they're here. And you know what it is when you have a crock pot cooking. It smells so good. I'm taking a risk and making a recipe I've never made before, which is kind of crazy, but it sounded really good. It's, ooh, look at how it turned out, guys. And I think a couple little clear sequins would be so pretty in this too, or the dewdrop enamel dots, those clear ones would be so pretty too, but I think it's just gorgeous. It's definitely exploding with color. So there's the two versions. I love both. I think they're both very fun. I think the lighter one, you see the kite more, and the darker one, you see the world more. It's interesting. Very fun. So that's the card kit card. Now we're going to move on to a card featuring the gorgeous fancy die of the month. This guy here, let me pull it out. This die has 4 parts. This large cover plate die. Let's hold it so you can actually see it. Which cuts like rainbows and clouds, a stream, and a windowed opening. And there's also three additional dies. Oops. We have a little rainbow and a cloud, which I still have attached together, the cloud. And then there's this die that cuts out a bunch of little stars. We're going to be using that and this cover plate die from the December Fancy Die of the Month. We'll also be using the reactive ink reinkers for watercoloring. So these were from the card kit, the December card kit of the month. And for our sentiment, let me grab the card so you can see it here. For our sentiment, we're going to use a couple stamps from the card kit of the month as well, the clear set from that. So those are all our things we're using. I'm going to start by die cutting a panel of Luxe white watercolor paper with that cover plate die. I'm just going to center it. I'm debating whether to tape it. I'm going to risk it all and not tape it. And I probably should because it already got off a little bit. So let's tape it. It's like a little game I always play myself. To tape or not to tape. And I always try to not tape if I think I can get away with it. Okay. Oh, thanks, Tracy. I'm glad you like it. So this one we're going to really try to be much lighter with our palette, which is going to be easier to control when we're painting. So I'm not worried. I'm not as worried about it. A little harder to control when you're doing the splatter. I could have checked first is what I could have done. Look at, I don't know if the light's going to be picking up. Can you see? Oh, it's such a pretty die cut panel. So pretty. And I think we can use this. No, we don't need, we'll use this later. We'll use this for the stars. So save your little negative piece. We'll need that later. Or you could use it for your sentiment too if you want everything to kind of match. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pop out all the little negative pieces. So all these little stars, excuse me, they can go. Pop those out. All right. Those ones aren't coming. I mean, they don't all have to come out. Definitely the bigger stars I want. And these little circles. Not so worried about the little circles. I got 1 or 2 little circles that are going to stay in there. And you know what? That's fine. I'm not going to even die cut this again to get those out. I don't care. Those don't need to come out. These bigger stars, let's see if I can hold it up. The bigger stars and diamonds, those I do want to pop out because we're going to kind of take advantage of that and color those a little differently, the background a little bit differently behind those so you can see them. But I had 2 little spots here and here where it didn't quite cut all the way through. Oh, now that one's coming. Maybe I can get the other one. This other one doesn't look very promising. He looks pretty stuck in there. Okay, he's going to stay in there. Now it's going to bug me. I wish I didn't pop the other one out. Should have left it in. Let's see if I can, with my sharper tweezers, going to pop that out. Oh, I got it. Looks a little rough in the back, but that's okay. Nobody's going to see that. There we go. Now we have all of them popped out. Woohoo! Push those aside. I have another watercolor panel here that I'm going to use for a background because we actually are going to watercolor this as well. And again, I'll pull the card up so you can see. But let's go ahead and start with this front one. Well, I'm going to real quickly trace on here before I start, just because in case this is wet and I don't want to touch it, I'll trace now. Now, when I trace this, I don't actually want to do a really good job. I'm doing a very rough trace. I'm actually going to hold my pencil under the, so a little bit like this, under, I don't know if you guys can see, it's going to go under the top panel. So I'm going to start at the top. If I trace a nice, good trace, nice and close, I will have to I got a little spot there. Make sure I erase it before I watercolor, because the watercolor is going to trap that pencil underneath and you won't be able to erase it later, and then it'll be visible from the front. So if you go a little bit under the frame, under the panel, no one's going to see your pencil line and you can leave it there. So there it is. And again, it doesn't have to be exact. We just need to know, here's where we want the rainbow. Here's where we're going to do yellow for everything else. Let's hold this up so you can see. Can you see behind those stars? It's yellow. Even over here, where this is technically the blue side. And you don't have to. You could make those blue. It would be pretty as well. You don't even have to do this. You could just color a rainbow back here, and that would look really pretty too. But that's what I did for my first cards. I wanted all the stars to be yellow. So kind of figured out where that opening was and then colored everything but the opening yellow. So we have that done. We're ready for that later, but let's start with this. Grab my palette again. I really should have some clean water. I am going to get up real quick and grab some clean water because I'm worried that's too dirty. There we go, clean water. Now let's go. And I'm gonna have the original here so I can keep it, just do as close as I can. We'll start with the red. Now to get it pink, it looks pink here. That's just more water. So I use the sides of the palette to kind of mix my shade. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna start just coloring, painting in. And if it's too wet, I'll use my towel. I need to hold it down a little. So when I painted this card the first time, the first example I made, I was watching The Holiday when I was working on it. And so that's what I think of when I'm painting it now again. I'm thinking of, oh, I remember I was watching The Holiday when I was painting this rainbow before. That's such a great movie. I enjoy that one a lot. I have to watch all my Christmas movies again every year, but it's been a long time since I've seen that one, actually. That's not in my normal rotation of films that I watch. We watch the classics like Home Alone and Elf and Christmas Story. That's one of my favorites. Ooh, looking good. And these rainbows are small and they're a little tedious to paint, but there's not too many to do. There's only like 4 rainbows if you count the stream, which I decided to make rainbow. It doesn't have to be rainbow, but I thought that was fun. And then we do a little bit of, or I did a little bit of coloring on this frame. And some things you can do to help you if you're worried about coloring outside lines, you can kind of pop some of these areas up a little bit to make it a little bit easier. You can't do this everywhere. It doesn't work for all areas of the panel, but in some places you can take advantage of that. I'm not super worried about doing it perfect. I don't think it has to be perfect. All right, I'm gonna do all my reds at once. It's another way to kind of keep the color consistent. It is a little bit easier if you have a little more water. It seems crazy, but it flows a little more easily into the up to the line, the cut line of the panel, I guess, or that the die creates. All right, keep going here. Yeah, I think that's the best tip, is using a little more water. Just kind of flows a little bit better over the surface. Okay, looking good. Now I'm going to color in some of these swirls up here. You could save yourself some trouble and just color this like one color, or leave it kind of white. But I felt like all the rainbows were down below, and I wanted to see some rainbows up above as well. So I decided to kind of incorporate some of these colors into these flourishes and things up here. All right, just 2 more to go with the red. And we only have 4 colors that we're kind of coloring with. So we're like a quarter of the way done. Beautiful. All right, now moving on to, let's go yellow. This one's going a little bit faster. I feel like you don't have to be as careful with the yellow. The other colors will kind of cover it up. All right. Keep going. And it's already looking so rainbowy and so pretty. I love it. Very fun. Color in some of these swirls now. And then we'll move on to this one here. Oh, and the moon can pop out. I didn't realize that. Did my moon not pop out? Did I not die cut it all the way? Oh, it'll pop out. Ooh, pretty. Okay. Now we're going to move on. Oh, there's some more yellow swirls. These guys get yellow too. This one's a little bit covered up by the beautiful, the bee and the beautiful, but these get colored too. All right, now green. So I decided to mix this green a little bit with the yellow. I'm gonna do the same again. Grab some of our green, grab a little of the yellow. I want it to be more of a limey green. I think that's pretty good. Let's see how it looks. Oh, needs to be a little bit more green. Okay, that's better. Oops. There we go, coming along. The clouds are easy, I promise. We're doing the hardest part first, which is the rainbows. Just because they're so small. You could use markers too. There's no reason why you have to watercolor this. This might be even easier with markers. They have a finer point. I'm using number 2 round brush. And all the instructions for both of these cards are on Hero Art's blog, so you can check out the instructions there. It's a good resource for the supply list and all the instructions, but you know, the live is great for. Video is great for seeing it in real time. Ooh, it's really coming together. It's so fun to watch these rainbows kind of pop up, appear. This is another one where I'm a little darker than, the palette's a little darker than the previous card. I'm a little more intense, but I'm kind of liking it. Well, my 2 cards are going to match. After all, I think a little bit, which they don't need to match. Of course, they're not a set or anything, but they look so pretty when they do match together. At least on camera, they look pretty. It's not quite swirls in here, but I'm going to make swirls in here. All right. Coming along. I'll hold up to the camera so you can see how we're doing. Making great progress. Now is the blue. Okay, so the blue is a little different. Though I like the blue Hawaii, I feel like for this palette, we need a more of a pool color. So we're going to mix our own blue. I'm going to do it. I've actually already done it here, but I want to do it again for you guys to see. So let's do it in real time. We're going to use this little well here to kind of mix it. First thing I'm going to do is grab some of this. Actually, we could just mix it in this one. What am I talking about? We'll just mix it with this leftover from our first card. So this is the blue Hawaii in this well. I'm going to grab a little bit of our green and add it. Keep grabbing more and mix it. I'm looking for actually a color that was pretty similar to our water before I cleaned it out and got new water. And I think that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to add a tiny bit more water to it. So I'm just grabbing with my brush. That's really all I'm doing. I definitely could use my pipette. That'd be smarter for me to do that. But I like this color. We just added the green. I think we've got it. It looks pool to me. So I'm going to go straight to my piece. Oh yeah. Let me paint it in a little more and then I'll hold up so you guys can see. Oops. So that's what we have. That's the color. I think the more water you add, the lighter it is and the better it even looks. Cute. Okay, I'm going to keep going. And I don't know if you guys can see. Definitely if you're doing this at home, you'll notice it such a little bit goes a long way. Just a tiny bit of color. And if you're really truly going for that pastel look like my first card, you'd really sense that, get a good sense of that. All right, rainbows are done. We just have to do the little bit of blue in the swirls. All right, last little swirl here. Here we go. Okay, now the clouds. Is that your number two? Yeah, this is my number 2 round. Nothing fancy. I used to have fancy watercolor brushes. But if you watched in my other lives, you know that I am terrible at taking care of my brushes. In fact, you might even notice this when I don't put them away properly and I leave them in water sometimes. So I don't let myself have fancy brushes anymore. Number 1 would be probably even better for this, but I'm making the number 2 work. I think my number 1 is missing. I can't find it. I don't know where it is, but with a round brush, you can usually just get it to a point, even when it's, I wouldn't say the 2 is super fine, but here we go. Just noticed that side wasn't quite painted. Okay, I think that's good. All right, we're gonna now do the clouds. So for the clouds, I want to use that same pool that I created, but I want it to be a lot lighter. So I'm going to kind of pull some out and place it here on in my palette, the edge of my palette, and then add a little water to it. If you had another well, you could do that, just do it in a well, but all my wells are filled, which I really should have cleaned it beforehand. Okay, and now I'm going to just add a shadow. Paint with this watered down. And I think that's still hair too dark. So adding a little bit more water. To these clouds. Kind of do the it's not the bottom of the clouds, but really it's like the top of the cloud that's adjacent. Let's see if I can show you. Do you see that? Real simple. So just like at the top of all of these clouds, but you're doing it technically on the other cloud. So it's actually the bottom. For this one here, let's keep going on this side and then I'll hold it up. We've got this one here. This one here. So I'll hold up so you can see what I've done so far. There we go. Now I'm going to do the bottom of this cloud here. Let's hold it up again. A little different because we actually can see the bottom of the cloud. So I'm going to go right along there. And then again at the top of that edge. And we'll go ahead and do it here as well. This spot's a little funny. We're getting another bottom of the cloud. Oh, but I missed a spot. Oh no. Well, that's better. All right, we're almost done with half of this. Oh my gosh, it's looking so pretty. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Very simple. And now all the clouds are like popping. Amazing. Go to the other side. Just going to repeat the same process. And it looks like I'm going to have to mix up a little bit more of my cloud color. So pull out some more of that teal or pool, add some more water. All right, I think we got it. I'm going to do it on the frame. Okay, home stretch. That is too dark. How did I use all that color already? All right, that is done. Hold up so you can see. Looking really good. Now, the only thing is the lines can be a little harsh. So if you want to, you can take some of your clean water. This is clean enough. What I have is clean enough. Clean my brush out. So I have no watercolored ink, nothing. I just have the water loaded in my brush. And you don't need very much. And with your damp brush, go over the edge. And that'll reactivate that reactive ink. And then you can kind of soften the edge a little bit. It's like blending with the colorless blender. If you're familiar with Copics or coloring with alcohol markers, it just softens that edge a little bit. I'm going to do this to all my edges. For the clouds, that is. Let's see, I did half. Let's see if you can see. Do you see how this half is a little bit softer? Little softer gradations. This is a little bit more stark. Nothing wrong with this, but it's a little harsher, the lines. So I'm going to blend those out a little bit again. Yikes. Okay, almost done. All right. That's it. That's the finished. Wow, that was the hardest part, was watercoloring that panel. So now that's done. We have the background to do. So I've already traced it, which is nice. So we know all this needs to be yellow. So we could do that first. I think, though, I'm going to do the rainbow first, just to get that out of the way. Now, the only tricky part about the rainbow is that I kind of wanted the cut. Let's see, you can see here. I want it to look like it ends, like the red is going to the red, the yellow is going to the yellow in the stream, and so on and so forth. So to do that, it's kind of hard to know where that stream is just by looking at this. So I'm going to give myself a little cheat. So like here is red, here is yellow, here is green, here is blue. So I just made some little lines. And that kind of helps me to know where to go. Something like that. And I just stuck my pencil again under the, line my panel up. Oops. See, I don't want that pencil showing. I think I might have to even erase. It's a little bit too much just showing. I'm gonna erase a little bit. There. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Now everything's hidden. But I can still see the pencil, or at least I can see the pencil lines below. All right, so let's start with our red. Now, this would be better if you have a bigger brush, to be honest. Number 4 would be nice for this. I'll stick with my number 2, just in case that's all you have. Grab our red, and again, we don't want it to be, and the thing is here, I'm also going to try to do is create a gradation. So I'm definitely trying to make it hard for myself. I want it to be darker red down here and lighter red up there. So I'll start there. Gosh, this color is so intense and beautiful. God, I'm just always floored by how pretty these reactive inks are. They're just beautiful. I love this fruit punch color. It's definitely one of my favorites. Not everybody loves it. I think some people think it's a little too corally. I just think it's so pretty. All right, we have a little bit of a gradation there. That works for me. Let's move on to our yellow. I need some more yellow. One, I tainted it a bit. And I've used it all up practically. Now I know how I get messy. That's terrible, Shannon. Straight up just used my finger to clean that up. I could have used my chamois. I don't know what I was thinking. We definitely need more yellow because we're going to be coloring the whole background too. I'm adding a little bit of water to this. Let's be smarter and grab the pipette since I have it here. Where did it go? Well, I thought I had it. Here it is. That was probably too much water, but oh well. And first I'm just going to get some of, I'm going to kind of establish where the yellow is going. I need my towel. Get some more water, clean my brush so it's not so loaded, saturated with the. And now I'm going to go over with just water and kind of blend these together. I might even need to mix the color. So taking a little of the red, a little bit of the yellow and mixing. There we go. To help the blend. Okay, so we got 2 so far. Our yellow and our red. Now, and I got a little fuzz on there that's bothering me. I don't know where he came from, but he needs to go. There we go. Now for our green, and again, we mixed a kind of our own custom green. I probably should have dried this. But if it's wet still, the colors mix better. But if it's wet still, the colors mix better, which means they're kind of bleeding into each other a little bit. So it's like a catch-22. We might have to pop in more yellow later, but that's not too hard to do. Okay, and I'm gonna soften that out a little bit. Tiny. Actually, I have pretty yellow there. Pick that yellow up. All right. Last is the blue. That's our teal. All right, I think that's where I'm going to call it done. You can even check and see how it looks with you hold your panel over. Oh, I think it looks so good. It might even be better than my first. That's the theme of the day. It might be better than my first card. Really pretty. Okay, now it is very easy. We're just going to paint basically the rest of it yellow. You want to leave a little border. You don't have to go right to the edge. And you don't actually need to paint the bottom. Now that I'm remembering, there's no stars down there. You do have to get pretty close here. The moon is. Uh-oh, I hope that pencil doesn't show. I think I drew my line when the moon was still, I had the negative still in there. Is this it? Did I get all the stars? Let's see, did I get all of them? Almost. I think I gotta go to the edge a little bit more. All right, that has to be all of them. They're all painted. Okay, I'm going to heat set this a little bit. Actually, I don't need to. We're going to let this dry. We'll work on our sentiment. So this is dry pretty much. I'll let this dry, set that aside. We're going to stamp our sentiment now. So I need my Misty. I need the clear set from the December card kit of the month, which that's the one I keep losing. It's not behind me this time. So where did I put it? Where did I put it? Great question. I don't know. Ah, there it is. I found it. I found it. All right. So we're using the Beautiful and the You're Amazing, but I'm going to cut off the Amazing. So we're going to say You're Beautiful. You could say You're Amazing and just not do the Beautiful, but I liked that scripty Beautiful with the background. I thought it was really pretty with the whole scene. So, and I wanted it to say not just beautiful. I wanted to say something else. So, I guess I'll just use this little scrap here. It's the watercolor paper. I think it's big enough. Oh, it's not big enough. I won't use that. I will just use some white cardstock. Again, the Hero Arts cardstock is the unicorn, Channin. The Luxe White watercolor cardstock from Hero Arts is very white. So it will go with white cardstock. But if you don't have a very white cardstock, you might want to do this, or if you don't have a very white watercolor paper, you might want to do your sentiment in the same paper. To use the watercolor paper. Here we go. It's like, where? I've got to have some cardstock somewhere. We're going to do both these sentiments on here. That looks like it'll fit nicely. This time I'm going to use my embossing watermark ink because I'm using gold embossing powder. I just have to find my embossing ink pad. Is this it? No, that's my contour. I don't think this is it. Oh, this isn't it. Is it out? Where's my embossing ink pad? Oops. Oh, here it is. It's at the bottom. I wasn't expecting that. Jennifer! Merry Christmas! What a fun surprise! We were talking earlier how I'm not alone. Tracy and I are not ready at all for Christmas. Meaning I haven't wrapped a single present. Pray for me. I'm in big trouble. But we were saying somehow it magically all gets done, right? Somehow it just gets all done. All right, we're going to stamp this a couple of times. And I won't lie, I may have been up this morning at 6 a.m. buying some more presents. And I think I'm always worried that my family might be watching, but I we do at my house, in my family, the adults don't all buy each other presents. We just do a Secret Santa. And this year, just in case she's watching, I got one of my sisters. I don't have to say exactly which one, but which I'm so excited. I normally don't get my sisters. I usually get their partners, it's just more fun to buy for your sister. And she's also a crafter too. Oh, Beth said I had to order last night. I know I had to like look and make sure that the things I was ordering still shipped in time, which everything did. But I am done now with that. But I still hadn't got back to my sister in this Secret Santa. I still hadn't got her present yet. And it should be easy because I know her very well. But I was struggling this year. But I think I got it figured out. Fingers crossed. There it is. Oh, it's so pretty. I still never get tired of heat embossing. Ever, ever, ever. It's definitely one of the first stamping things I did or tried, or techniques, I guess you'd even call it. And it still never gets old. That and embossing folders. Those were fun too. I remember showing somebody who didn't normally make cards once. I helped him actually make a card. And we did embossing. We used an embossing folder, and his mind was blown. It's funny what will really get someone excited. You know, it's not always the same things, but it does seem to be like the same like 5 things typically. Die cutting was another one for me. It's like, because I was a stamper before dies. I stopped. I got away from it when I went to college and everything, and life got busy. And when I came back to stamping, that's when dies started coming. I realized about dies, and I was like, oh my gosh, dies are so cool. That was another thing. And ironically, I got back into stamping with a Cricut, and which, you know, kind of is, if you have a Cricut, you may not need a die so much or so many dies. But I was like, I had this Cricut. I didn't know what to do. I started making cards, rediscovered stamping, and discovered dies. And now I'm all about die cutting. I don't want, my Cricut is great, collecting tons of dust because I love die cutting. Hi, Vicki. Welcome. It already came. I didn't read the second part of your thing, Beth. It already came today? Wow. That's pretty awesome. This year we do a white elephant too. We did do a shop local or handmade. So that was fun too. I liked that challenge, and I hope to do it more. And I also challenge myself more for my daughters to find things, because my daughters are only 12 and 10. So they're very much into toys, starting to get more into clothes, but not so much into handmade things or things you would find, you would find, I don't know. I did get my daughter one time a crocheted thing. And I know Lila crochets, which we tried Wobbles, which is a kit, and it was still a little bit too confusing. I don't think it's bad. It's just, it needed a little bit more mommy's help than I could do. Vicki says, dies allow our projects to have so much dimension. Yes, they were a huge change stamping. Totally, Vicky, right? Okay. It's coming together. I'm very excited to see this come together. It's looking so good. Okay, so the your, we only want the your. So I'm going to actually fussy cut. Speaking about dies, I'm now going to step away from the dies and alter this die cut by fussy cutting. And I'm just going to quickly cut. And I didn't realize this. I forgot that this had a little dot left over from the eye in Amazing. Well, I have a trick for that. We'll get it. Let's see. There we go. I lost my train of thought. What I was saying. I know I was talking about something. It's really difficult for me to do two things at one time. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I was talking about my daughters. Oh, I was challenging myself to get more small business things for them. And I did this year, and I'm proud of myself for doing that. And that also requires you to get it a little bit more in advance. Ooh, this is curling up because that's still wet. All right, so we still have that little dot there. So I'm going to use my white gel pen. First thing I'm going to do is take my craft knife, an X-Acto knife, and kind of scrape off the heat embossing a little bit. And I honestly think that was probably enough right there. As you can see, that eye is like already gone. If you want to do a little bit more cleanup, you can use a gel pen, a white gel pen, and cover up a little more. But I think the scraping, we pretty much did it. You're beautiful. Okay. Is this it? Oh, no. And we have the stars. Okay. So I'm going to put those aside. Let's do the stars real quick. I'm going to at least get the paper ready. I don't know if I want to die cut them out because they're so tiny and I'm afraid of losing some of them. I think I'm going to die cut it out. We'll just use this white paper until we're all ready to stick them down. But we're still going to need embossing, and we're still going to need our gold embossing powder, and we're going to need our embossing ink. Press some of this down onto some cardstock. It doesn't even have to be white, but white's probably best because then the gold embossing will match your sentiment a little bit more. Smush the ink pad down to get some ink onto the paper. Now just dip it into your gold embossing powder. Perfect. And then we'll heat set with our heat tool. And now we'll end up making our own kind of gold paper, sort of. Perfect. All right. Home stretch. Let's bring it together. I think this needs to be, I need to dry this a little bit more before I start sticking things down. Hi, Amy. All right, and I might need to, it's watercolor paper. We added water, we heat set, it's got a little bit warped. That's totally normal. Usually one trick is running it through your die cutting machine. Let's grab one of our plates. That often helps a lot to kind of smoosh it back down. Let's do that. Oh my gosh, I've got a mess going on here. How does this happen every single time? Okay. You know what? I think that did it. That did it. I love it. Okay, let's pop this up. I didn't turn this into a shaker card, but you totally could. Hi, Crystal. No worries. I'm glad you're here. I know it's crazy time of year for everybody. Everybody's so busy. I'm going to have family over tonight to my house, and I haven't had them over for so long because my house has been a disaster. It is still technically right now a disaster, but it's the cleanest it's been in, oh gosh, what would I say? I'd probably say like 5 months. I still have more cleaning to do, but I feel good because I have my crock pot started, and that's going to be done. That's the dinner. And what else do I have? Oh, I think the other things are not going to take me too long. Right, Vicky? Shaker everything. I agree. I should have made this a shaker. This could easily be a shaker. Should I make it a shaker, guys? It's kind of too late, though. Shoot, I stuck all these things down. I shouldn't have stuck these things down. I still could do it. Actually, I could just cut my acetate. I'll keep it as is. I don't want it to go stray from the instructions in case that confuses anybody. Okay, we are home stretch. This is 1/8 foam strip, so really handy for this because there's some tiny little spaces it can get into nicely. I like to put some on the frame. Which is what I'm calling that area around the window. Oh, you're celebrating your 50th anniversary? Happy anniversary. That's so nice. You guys have plans? Gonna go out for dinner? I love that. That's exciting. Married around Christmas, huh? That's special. Not a lot of people do that. I love a Christmas wedding. I think that sounds so amazing. All right. I think I added all my foam adhesive. I think I'm done with that. I'll start pulling these off with my tweezers. Get these out of the way. I like my Hero Arts tweezers for my stab and grab method of removing the foam adhesive, or the backing on the foam adhesive. Kind of poke it on the side, and that lifts it up a little bit, and then you can grab it very easily, which is super handy for, or take your whole adhesive off. Normally it doesn't do that, but super handy for something tinier pieces like this is. All right. How long did this one take me? Okay, this one took a little bit over an hour. I'm not too surprised that this one took a little bit longer. The painting was a little more intense. You know, I think we need one more piece of foam adhesive right there. How did I miss that spot? Did I get all the back? One more I didn't get. I think I got everything now. All right, that's done. Line it up. I don't really see pencil, so that's pretty good. Phew, I was a little worried about that. And now we have let's pop our sentiment down. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. What's with these cards? Always, they're all looking better than the first ones. I do see a little spot that I missed with yellow, so I'm going to color that in a little bit. All right, this is going to get popped up with foam adhesive. I'm going to double it though. So I'm going to add, I'm going to my 1/4 inch. And in the center, we'll do 2 layers. I should have folded itself on itself, but I didn't. Oh well. The center will do 2 because it's going to touch the back of the panel. Let's cut this into. But on the sides, we'll just do 1 layer of foam adhesive because it's on the already lifted up panel. Sorry, guys. Sometimes my brain can talk and do something at the same time, and sometimes it cannot. And most of the time, it cannot. Today is definitely feeling like one of those times it cannot. Okay, here's another piece. It's going to go in the center, doubled up. And I'm going to also double up this little bottom portion of the F. Ugh. So sticky. Where's my tweezers? I think I have all the backings already removed. So we can stick this down. Maybe. Okay, he's done. Now we're going to do the your. And I think I overlapped. I'm going to grab my original. Thank you, Crystal. It's fun. This one's a fun one. It's a little bit more bright than my first, but just barely. I think I did a better job with the rainbow background on this one, though, than I did the first for sure. Truth be told, I knew what I was doing this time. And when I made the first one, I didn't know exactly where I was going with that background. So I fussed with it a little bit more. Oh yeah, I did overlap a little bit. The B. Okay, and we'll double this up. I got to go back to my 1/8 because it's small. Double that up. Yes, the plan is to continue to do the make-alongs for the Hero Studios. Yes. I think it'll still be me. We might have some guests once in a while, though. So it might not always be me. I enjoy them, though, you guys. I enjoy going live and sitting down and crafting. It's very fun and peaceful, for relaxing to me. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. You guys, this one's better than my first one. This keeps happening today. I love it. It's so pretty. I love this one. Okay, so now we're going to do the stars. We've got our heat embossed. We're going to take that die. This is the other one of the other dies that are included in that fancy December fancy die of the month. And we're going to die cut some stars. I only die cut the stars once. So I do have more gold than I really need, but that's okay. I'd rather have too much than too little. Oh, thanks, Tracy. Ah, I took some of the heat embossing off. Let's see how that works. It didn't stick to the paper. Ooh-wee, what's up with that? I don't think I've ever had that happen before. I wonder if I can still use it. Or maybe it just ripped the... No, I think it came off. Good thing we had too much. I think it's fine, actually. I don't know. I think it's fine. I'm saying that because, look, if you look here, kind of popped off. Oh, that would be fun, Sheila. I would love that. Are you kidding? Those are the best. They're the best out there. Maybe for our stamp along in the future. That would be fun. We've got plans coming for the future. We're a little behind on things. We've got behind on things, but we have fun things coming for sure. Fun Hero Arts things coming for the future. I can't wait. I'm excited. Guys, I am going to share with you the kit at the end of this. I can't wait for you guys to see it. February's kit is amazing. I'm probably showing you a little early, but I don't care. I need for you guys to see it. It's so cute. It's so great. So you're getting a sneak peek of the February card kit at the end of this, which I'm almost done. All right, I think that's plenty of stars. I kind of got them all laid out here. Let's add some liquid glue. You know what I should use? Instead of liquid glue, I need to take a book from crafters who are smarter than me, which is Jen Shirkas is one of them. And I need to grab, she made me get this pen. Let's see if I can find it. It's a gluey pen, like a gel pen, but with glue. And it's very handy. I just forget I have it sometimes. And now I can't find it, of course. I know it's in here. We're going to just take everything out. That's not it. Where is it? All right, we're going to grab the whole caddy over here. There it is. I found it. Okay, here we go. Oh, yes. Sheila, Dana, and Pam. Absolutely, 1000%. That would be an honor, to be honest. That'd be an honor to be with those ladies. All right, so I have this stick quickie glue pen. Let's try this, huh? I think this will work nicely. To be honest, what I normally use is my Hero Arts glue because I'm a creature of habit, but I think this will work. Are you still gluey? Is it sticky? I can't tell. Oh, I'm going to go back to my Hero Arts glue. Old Faithful. Let's add some little dabs. 1, 2. I'm just going to copy my original card so I don't have to think too hard. Oh my gosh, I just love these little gold stars. They're so sweet. Oh my gosh. You are too much glue though. Let's pick some of you up. And we'll put another little. This is definitely fussy work and you could totally leave it out, but it's so pretty. It makes me so happy. See these little stars on here. We're going to add some of the diamonds too. I don't add just the star shapes. Let's do another little star. Whoops. I think he was just the heat embossing, but he worked. Sorry for my big head. Oh, good. My head's not in the way. Good. Oh my gosh, look at those stars, guys. It's totally worth a little bit of extra fussiness. So where's my die cut? Did I get all like it? All right, we're almost done. Then I'll show you the kit, which I just can't wait. It's so pretty, guys. I think I have to show you a couple of my cards because I don't think you can really appreciate how cool the kit is until you see some of the cards. All right, I think, do I want to add one more? I'm going to add one more. All right, calling it Dunsies. Vicky says, any idea why the die leaves the white paper in the letter loops? Oh, I know. That's their choice. That was the design. I do think it helps because it's so thin, you can see it a little bit better. But yeah, maybe I would have liked that to be cut out. I think I'm gonna add one. I'm decided to add. I found one more star and I want to add it. That would probably be nice to have those little parts cut out. But let's see. All right, that's done. Let's clean up my mess here. Okay, we have all finished. Love our stars in the background. Such a pretty, pretty design. Love it. And I think I like both the light and the darker. They're both fun. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, I think I like the darker a little bit better. And then here's our first card that we created with the December card kit. This was the original. Here's the other one. Clearly, I added less water to this one, which is why the colors are a little darker. And I decided because the colors are different, I maybe didn't want to do the mist, but both totally fun. Let's see how they look together. Very fun. So those are our two cards for today. Now let's move on to the February card kit of the month. So this card kit, I'm going to close the box. Let's get all this other stuff out of here. This card kit is will be released on the 1st. And you can purchase it from the 1st through the 27th of February. So it's coming up soon after the holidays. No, of January. Sorry, let me go back. This is the January. I'm thinking February because it's Valentine's themed. I'm sorry. I apologize if I said February so many times. This is the next release, which is January. It'll be available January 1st through January 27th. And it has a Valentine's theme, which is why I was thinking February. Sorry about that. Okay. Yep, Crystal, that's my fault. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the confusion. You think I would know now that Valentine's things come on in January and not get so confused, but I still get confused because you have to have it before so you can make cards. Okay, so this is January. This is the January late card kit of the month. Pull it out. Let's start with the main stamp set, which is again a 6x8. I had some white cardstock that I used earlier. Oh, here it is. Right? Is it over here? We'll have to use this. It's not ideal. I don't know where my white cardstock went. I'll put two together. It is a color layering stamp set. And it is, you can see there's a typewriter, a couple layers for the typewriter, some layering stamps for flowers, which are actually roses, I believe. So pretty, cute little keyboard. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous stamp set. There are coordinating dies. So you have dies for the keyboard, or that's not a keyboard, that's a typewriter. And you also have dies for all of the flowers. Love notes, yeah, you're on to something. And then there are dies, these fancy dies. So these are kind of like standalone dies, but you can be used with stamps if you want, or you can use them all on their own. You can see the die will cut and make all these impressions and cuts in your cardstock. So it could just be cut out of colored cardstock if you don't want to stamp first. And you can have a typewriter just like that. There's also a die for the paper. So these ones are like the frame cuts, which will cut out the flowers. These ones will cut out flowers with all these details. So it's nice to have both options because you can, I will actually show you a card why it's nice to have both. You're my type. That's so cute, Beth. Beth, you're a genius. You are so smart. That's brilliant. There's another flower. So it's all the, and this is actually a good, you can see how these images stamp and what they make. Because there's a leaf stamp, another flower. Oh my gosh, this set is so pretty. And I will show you my cards that I created because I think you guys will like to see them. They will kind of help you better understand how this works. Those are the frame cuts. I guess I could pull those out really quick, but you kind of understand how those work. They'll cut out the stamped images. These would too, but these will, you will get a white border with these. These ones you will not. So that's the really nice thing of having both. So that's flowers for everything, just like you see here. And again, all of these add, even the leaves will add these impression. Okay, now that's not all. So that is a lot right there. Tons of dies. Love the different kind. You have the fancy dies. You have the frame cuts. There's also this large cover plate die that's included in the kit. Whew. I'm gonna try to do this nicely. First is this die. Isn't that pretty? It's an A2 cover plate die that cuts, well, really this die actually adds these radiation lines around a heart. Let's see. You know, we'll do it like this. I think that makes sense. The paper's a little different. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we have this one. Then there is a bunch of nesting hearts. And I love these hearts because they are sized to fit an A2 card front better. A lot of hearts are too, you know, rounded in shape, which are really pretty hearts, but they don't fit the scale of your card front as well. And these hearts are perfect for that. Look at them. They're perfect. And look at all of them you get. I'm still grabbing. Isn't this pretty? So you get this die too in the kit. There you go. So cute, right? Also, there is another 4x6 stamp set included in this kit. Let's see if I can grab some of my cardstock here. There you go. Look at that, bunch of sentiments. And these ones are so cool because you can stamp them on the paper, put it in the typewriter, and it just is this really fun, like these are images, essentially, shapes, but created out of text. I think that's such a neat idea. You can tell which one I've used already. But let me show you. Oh, and there's one more thing I want to show you before I show you my cards. There's also included are these sprinkles. Fun, right? Some clay embellishments. Okay, let me show you my cards. I have to grab them. I wasn't planning on showing the cards. But I do think you need to see them to really understand. So here's that typewriter, you guys. Look at it. It's so beautiful. I have the sentiments stamped on the paper, tucked into the typewriter. And then we have the flowers. I stamped those and die cut them out with the frame cuts. So they have that beautiful white border. Isn't that awesome? Then I also have a card which shows this die, these clay hearts, and these ones, I'll put this here, these flowers. So here's my other card. You can see these flowers I cut out with the dies out of colored cardstock. I did do a tiny bit of Copic coloring just to make the layers stand out more. You can see I didn't use all the hearts, but I used some of them. That gorgeous radiating texture that the die adds. Isn't it fun? I get it, you guys. The set is amazing. I can't wait to create more cards with it. So, so good. So again, since I said it wrong the first time, I'm going to say it right again. This is the January card kit of the month. It'll release January 1st. It's available from January 1st to January 27th. And there's actually some colored cardstocks that are included. This is one of the cardstocks. I believe the red is, I can't remember now, but I will have the cardstocks ready when I do my videos for this kit, but it's a really awesome kit. And I think you guys are going to love it. I think it's so fun to play with. Lots of possibilities and just really, really stunning. All right. I'm going to pop back to my face. All right. Do you guys have any questions? Again, I apologize for calling it February. It's Valentine's and I think, oh, it's February release, right? No, dummy. It is January because it has to come earlier. Hope you guys enjoyed that sneak peek of the January card kit of the month. And I hope you also enjoyed creating those two cards with the December card kit as well as the December fancy die of the month. And I will see you guys soon. Actually, I'll see you. The next live will be January 2nd. I will do a live where I go over everything from the January release. And we call it our spotlight release or January spotlight. So I hope you guys can check that out. It'll be at 4 p.m. Pacific, which I believe is 7 p.m. Eastern on January 2nd. And the live isn't up yet. I will get that up probably in the next couple days so you guys can schedule that if you want to, but I will see you then. And yes, you guys are already wishing everybody happy holidays. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. I hope those of you who are like me, Tracy, who are behind, I hope you get caught up and have as stress-free as possible and just enjoy the time you have with your families. And that's definitely what I'm planning on doing. And I will see you guys after the holidays. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your night. Bye. There we go. Whoops.